Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a very different type of video for you today. I was on YouTube last night and I stumbled across a couple of videos that sort of took me by surprise when I first saw the title. And I watched the videos and I realized that they had some really, really good points, and I thought that today I would do my own version of this particular topic. So, the topic I'm talking about today is the dark side of reborn collecting. And yes, there is a dark side. I didn't even sort of think about this too much until I saw it presented all sort of in one little package, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that is all makes sense." So I just thought that it would be something I could also touch about today. I know that I always try to focus on the positives in this reborn community, and that's what 99% of what I do is. But today I thought I would just step out and discuss what the dark side of reborn collecting is and get your thoughts and opinions on it to see if maybe you could be like you. We could open your eyes a little bit when you see it presented in a one little package like this. So, yeah, if this is something that you're interested in, please stay tuned. I do have a second bub that will be coming along. I'm going to pause the video and get another bub out so you can enjoy the other bub as well while I am talking to you today. So if you're interested, please keep watching. Okay, the first point, I have quite a few different points to talk about, different points about the dark side of reborn collecting. And the first point, which is, I think, one of the strongest points, is the emotional addiction that can um, create a lot of issues in people's lives with their reborn collecting, because it can unfortunately get some people into a lot of debt and cause money problems. Now, this is something that we joke about. We joke about a lot in the reborn community, how, oh, I'll eat noodles for a month so I can own the latest baby that I'm after. I know I've joked about it. I know other people have joked about it. But of course, with all this joking, there always is a serious side to it. And I don't know about you personally, but I do know there will be a lot of people in our community who have had to sacrifice a lot to buy a baby, or who have gone into a lot of debt to buy the baby of their dreams. And, I can honestly say that, I personally have spent a lot of money on reborns, as you would probably know if you know what my collection is. So I myself have invested a lot of money in my collection, and it's something that I've chosen to do because this is my hobby and my passion. And there has been times, many times, when things have been very tight because I haven't had that extra money that I have invested in these reborns to, pay lots of bills and stuff like that. So I've had to juggle. So I personally, being very honest with you all, having these babies are not cheap. They're very expensive. And if you want to own more than a few, you have to invest a lot of money into it. And, and it can create money problems. Like, some people could be so bad that, they could technically even be homeless over it if they're, spending their rent money. Like, there's a difference between doing it tough and doing things like so bad and so difficult that, there's some people can get so passionate and addicted that, sorry, I've just got a little frog in my throat, that they could see a doll they want for sale on an auction. They can have their rent money, and think, well, what would I rather, pay my rent this week or get that doll that I really, really want? I can contact the real estate or my landlord, and I can, just try to put them off for a little bit, and then that way I can get my reborn. Like, there are some people who I'm sure have made some not great decisions because of the real strong emotional needs of collecting. So that's, a bit scary because, we have gambling addicts, we have drug addicts. This hobby could possibly be, very, very addictive, especially if people who have lost, a baby, suffering loss. This can potentially have lots of negative impacts on some people's lives if they are sort of making those decisions. So unfortunately, that is one dark side of reborn collecting that may affect some people quite negatively. So with eBay auctions, and when they first start, you say, oh well, I'll only go to $600, just as an example. That's my budget. But then as time goes, they hit 600, they're over to 600. So you say, I'll go 650. I really want this bub. And you go through the photos, you look at the photos, you pour over them. I've done this, I've done this myself, so I can totally relate. And then they hit 650, and then you're like, "Oh, well, then I can go 700." And it just goes up and up and up, and then you you're trying to rationalize yourself why you can go more because you really, really want that bub. So that can be, not a great thing to do. Um, I'm just looking at some notes here. So yeah, I basically just said how much these babies can like really get us to really overreach our financial situation and potentially get some people into a lot of financial problems. Okay, next point. Um, I'm just checking what I said, what I wrote. Oh, okay, this is a good point. Another dark side of ribbon collecting is when a bub that you have got your heart set on, that because so many reborns get made, but not all of them have that X factor with you. There's only a few out there every year that really, really appeal to you. Well, that's my situation anyway, and I know a lot of other people as well. And then a baby might come up that you're like, oh my God, like that's my dream baby. So you scratch to get all the money that you need because either they might have an auction or they might have a time when that particular baby is up for sale, and everyone then has to try to buy it at the same time. I know a lot of artists are doing that now. They're creating a bub, they're showing the photos, they're saying, right, at a random time or a set time on this date, this bub will be for sale, and the first person to click buy will get it. And then imagine if you're one of those people who your heart is set on that particular bub because that bub is just really, really, really spoke to you, and it's your perfection. It's got the coloring, the hair, the everything that you really like, which is hard to get, the whole package. And so you are all ready to buy it, and then you click, and then you've missed out because someone else got you at the end. Like I've seen some people get really, really, really mad and frustrated and sad and angry that they missed out on that particular bub that they had their heart set on. So, that's not a really fun side of reborn collecting. Seen it happen myself. It has happened to me in eBay auctions where I've been, outbid at the last minute and I've missed out. My heart was, broken for a second, but I got over it. But it was a bitter pill to swallow at the time. The next point I've got is a really sad, but just the way it is the reborn community bullying, which, can happen. I've seen it happen myself. It's happened to me. But generally I try to stay out of it all because I just know that bullying feeds on bullying. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat this morning. Bullying feeds on bullying, and I just find that when anyone's starting out on me, I don't engage because engaging them just gives them what they want. If they want to argue, that's what they want to do. So if they want to have beef with you, and criticize you, whatever. I'm getting too old for that sort of stuff. Like, I don't really care. Not everyone has to like me. I don't care if people don't like me. If people don't like what I do, fine. Don't watch me. Don't talk to me. It's all good. Same with me. If there's someone I don't like, I don't go on and attack them on their channel, or I don't, send them messages. I just leave them alone and don't watch them. So it's pretty simple. Just don't engage with people that you don't like. And I just it's so sad. I actually saw an interesting thing happening where these bullies were like, they didn't think they were bullies. They thought they were doing the right thing, but of course, that's all a perspective thing. And they all ganged up together, and then and eventually over time they all turned on each other themselves. That was really, really sad. But that's just what can happen. So, and then luckily it all sort of fell apart because of that. So a positive thing came out of that, I think, anyway. Um the next thing is, um oh yeah, this is funny. Getting the fear of FOMO about new limited editions coming out. This has happened to me. And I'll give you the kit names. So some artists bring out limited edition kits, and they're only for sale for, like, they put them out for sale, and they say, right, these babies will be out, um we're going to put them out for sale, and then we're going to see how many orders we get, and then how many orders we get is going to be how much reborns that get made. And you're like, oh no. And if you really, really love that kit, you're so worried that you're not going to get that kit. And I'm going to name the kits that this happened to me. So my Ramsey was one of them, limited edition, that I really thought I was going to miss out on. Lucky I got one in the end. Luciano, my Summer Rain was a little bit different. Summer Rain came out years ago, and I always loved her kit. And at that time, I just was saying, no, 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 I don't need any more. And then I've always, whenever you see that particular kit come up for sale, you're always like, oh, I really love that kit. But it wasn't until late last year when I saw one for a really, 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 really affordable price that I liked. I thought, now's my time to finally buy that kit that I've always, always wanted. So that was a little bit different scenario than what I'm really talking about. And the other one was the Azalea kit, which I really, really love from the very second she got brought out. But I ended up getting two of her. So yeah, it's really frustrating when you really love a kit. It really speaks to you. Speaking of kits, this is the Angeli kit. By Adri Stoety, is it? I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but she is absolutely adorable. As you can see, I love her face. Um, and I just love this baby so much. Uh, so yeah, it's really frustrating, I find personally, when there's a kit that you really, really speaks to you, and it's limited edition. You might, for whatever reason, not be able to afford it at that time, or just um it's just not good timing for you to buy it, and then you're really, really scared that you're going to miss out down the track of that reborn, because some of them can be really, really hard to find and to buy. Okay, next point. Scammers, obviously, always being a dark side of Reborn collecting. I will quickly share a very short story with you that's a little bit different to the Chinese scammers and stuff like that. This lady purchased a full body silicone Romy baby many, many years ago. The lady sent it to her. Everything was all going well. Then what this lady did was she took the baby out of the box and she filled it up with newspaper or something. And then she got a camera out. She started filming a box opening, and she opened up the box and there was no baby in there because she'd already taken it out, but she didn't. She filmed a box opening that was empty, and she was trying to say that someone had, either the mum hadn't posted it or had been stolen on its journey to her. But luckily, we found out down the track years later, she tried to sell it, and we found out that she actually did have it. So she was caught and shamed, and banned sort of thing from the community. So, that's pretty dodgy. This was like a $10,000 doll that she pretended never arrived in the box. So yes, scammers unfortunately are a very dark side of the Reborn collecting hobby. Last one before I change bubs is um the stress that we sometimes the people that invest like high-end babies can get a lot of stress from having, has so much money invested in their silicones and their vinyls. Some vinyls can sell up for $9,000 each these days from the high-end collectors. Some silicones can sell for 26,000 US dollars each. Imagine having that lying around your house and you get robbed. Some people need to insure them. They can cause a lot of stress knowing that you've got all that money tied into a reborn, that could easy, get stolen, get damaged. That can itself induce stress into us worrying about, our money and all the money that's tied into it. Okay, so I'm going to put it on pause now and change babies. Okay, so here is baby number 2, my Levi. So gorgeous, wearing this really cute little outfit that I got. Can't remember where I got this one from, actually. I've had it for quite some time, but it's really, really cute. Anyway, so I'm going to keep going now and turn the page with all my notes. Okay. Okay, the next point does tie in a little bit with other ones. It's the fact that these reborns are just made by our artists so realistically these days that when you see, like, especially like an eBay, a top artist, or just just about above average artist do those auctions where they have you scrolling down and you're getting photo upon photo upon photo upon photo upon photo of their hands, their feet, their face, their hair. They're getting dressed in different outfits. Those auctions when you're just scrolling down and just every photo you're just like, and then the next one, and then you're just like dying over these auctions. I think the realism these days is amazing and is so wonderful, but I do also think the realism is really like affecting us to, create some thinking in our heads that, oh my God, I got to do anything. I got to do anything to own this bub. Like, this bub is just so gorgeous. And, I just have to have it. So it's really, the realism is really creating this really strong need and urge to own it, to have that as one of our only bub or part of our collection. I am so, so guilty of this, that when I see, an amazing photo shoot where each photo is just my all the clothing, all the coloring of the bub, everything is all to my taste. It just makes me just want to do anything I can to have that bub in my collection. And that's not always healthy to feel that way, and I can gladly say that that is no longer the case for me. It was for many, 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 many years, but now I can scroll on one of those types of auctions and I can admire the heck out of all of the photos and still be like, oh, how beautiful, how beautiful. But I don't have that urge to buy anymore. Thank God. I tell you what, it's so freeing when you don't have that anymore, that real strong urge anymore. It's very liberating, very freeing. So I really hope you each and all can get in collecting and then get to that point where you feel that way too, because it is a really nice feeling. It does relieve the stress a lot of the hobby, that aspect of it. Next thing is, oh, this is so stressful, is when you want to buy a reborn that you've seen, that you've loved, but you don't have a clue about that person that's selling it. You really don't know if that's a safe seller. You don't know about that person. Are they going to scam you? You're sometimes you do. This has happened to me once. I saw this lady in a Reborn Facebook group in Australia post a picture of one of the bubs that I actually cherish the most. And I've never heard of her. She was like a no one in the community. She's just someone who'd bought a doll who didn't, either needed the money or just wasn't really into the hobby. And she just wanted to sell it. I didn't know who she was from a bar of soap. No one else did either. And, I had to risk, luckily it wasn't big dollars, but I had to risk sending her my money and the hope that I would get it. She may have sent me nothing and there was nothing really I could do about it. But I really wanted this bub so much that I asked my friends that lived in that area because it was along like the other side of Australia to me. And I said, look, if this doesn't work out, would you be able to, message them for me because you live closer, stuff like that. So I had like backup plans, but I thought positively, and oh my God, she came, and I'm so glad I did it, even though I must admit they were the most stressful 2 weeks of my life. Yeah. So unfortunately, sometimes we have to take and have these stresses. If you really want a bub that's well priced, that you really like, but you don't know who the seller is, that you have that really terrible stress to make that sale. And on the other foot, if you're selling a bub and someone contacts you, you don't know them from a bar of soap, you never heard of them, you don't know that when you send them that bub, are they going to say it didn't arrive? Are they going to do a chargeback? There's so many stresses involved in this hobby with buying and selling. Unfortunately, it's just the nature of the beast with our hobby. So all you can do is try to buy from people try to sell from people but you can't always do that. So that is really, really stressful. The next point is, oh yeah. The next thing I want to talk about is people who for whatever reason, they might have mental health issues or something, but they get into this hobby and they like literally treat these babies like real babies. They um change them every night to go to bed, put them to bed, give them a bottle, role play. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with role play. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people that step even further outside of role play and literally treat these dolls like real babies. Like that is not that's like that can't be good for anybody to actually, treat these babies like they're real. Like one girl, she joined this Reborn Facebook group and she put up a post. She said, oh, hi, I'm just new to the community. I've bought my first Reborn. So I have to go to work tomorrow. So do I need to get do I need to go and hire a babysitter to look after my Reborn while I'm at work? Like, that's not healthy. And everyone, nicely in the comments below said, look, at the end of the day, it is just a doll. You don't need anyone to come and look after it, So unfortunately, there can be people with mental illnesses out there that can just take this hobby too far, to an unhealthy level. So, at the end of the day, these are dolls. They might look real, they might feel real, like they totally are deceiving to the eye. They trick you all the time thinking they're real. But at the end of the day, they are a doll and, they're not real. And people who are acting like they are real. There's even movies where people are acting like they're real, and getting babysitters for them and stuff like that. So it's just really sad to see that. So no hate here. Just it's always important to stay mentally healthy about this hobby, because it can easily cross over to an unhealthy part. I'm getting down to my last 2 points. The media. The media, it's a very misunderstood hobby. The media makes out, not all, but a lot of the media is made out that we're all a bunch of crazies, and that's not the greatest because reborns are not be can, are very therapeutic for so many reasons, for so many people. It's a hobby that I'm so passionate about. It's a huge part of my life and it always will be. And I'm always a big advocate for this hobby. But unfortunately, the media, doesn't always portray us in the best light. It is getting better as the hobby's getting more popular. But, it is what it is. We just have to keep explaining a hobby and trying to get people to understand it. But there will be some people who will never understand it. And that's just the way it is. We just have to accept that. My last point, just trying to read what it says. Oh, yeah. Family members and friends. Who has had this issue where your family members or your friends you haven't been able to tell them, or you have told some and they've been like, oh, they looked at you like, oh, you're a little bit, are you sure you're okay? You sure you don't need any help? I unfortunately sort of understand this because I'm the only person in my family that likes Reborns. No one else in my family likes Reborns. They don't get it. They don't really understand it. They support me in a way, but at the end of the day, it's they just don't get it, and it's really hard for them to understand. And whenever I start talking about it to them, they sort of look like, oh, she's talking about this again. Like, that's why I'm so big in the Reborn community, because this is my only way I can reach out to people about my hobby. Because if I start talking to my daughter about it, start talking to my sister and my mum, they're like, oh God, she's talking about that again, So you guys are my lifeline. So thank you so much for being there and being my support. I really appreciate it. That's all my points for today. Like I said, I like to focus on the positive side of this hobby, but unfortunately, or everything I've said today are dark sides of it, and it's not something I focus on. I always focus on the positive, but I just thought it was an interesting topic, so I'd love to know what your thoughts are on any of the points that I mentioned. You might have one that you might like to add down below that you have found that I didn't mention today. So I'd love to know your thoughts and feelings on this. Thank you so much for spending your time watching this today. It's a long, 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 long video for me, but I've really enjoyed producing it and making it, and all love, no hate. Please respect each other in the comments below. If anyone says anything that is, has touched you sensitively, just remember, to respect other people's thoughts and ideas. So that's it from to me today. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more of my videos. Until next time, it's see you later for me and gorgeous Levi. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.